Hello fiber artists, and today we are going to be learning the Tunisian crochet double stitch. And much like most fiber arts, we are going to be starting with a slip knot where we will take our yarn, flip it over on itself until it creates a little X, hold that X in place, and with 2 fingers go behind that loop you've just created, pinch the working yarn, which is the yarn that's connected to your big ball of yarn, and pull it through until you have that little knot right there. And that is our slip knot. Today I'm going to be using a 10mm Tunisian crochet hook, and that is just so that each stitch is easier to see. This is much larger than I need, but for demonstration purposes, it makes things a lot easier. So we put our yarn, our loop, onto our hook and pull it tight. Now what we are going to do is we are going to start with our chains. This doesn't require any multiples or anything, so you can just make any amount of chains and stitches that you want, however long, however short, whatever you need to complete your project. You don't have to remember to multiply it by anything or a specific number. For today, I'm going to be doing 10 stitches. That is my favorite number. It's my personal favorite number. So because I'm going to be working in 10 stitches, we're going to start off by making 10 chains. Now to do that, we're going to take our yarn, our working yarn, right here, and with the crook of our hook right here, the crook of our hook, we're going to pull that through the loop that was made with our slip knot, and that counts as our first chain. I'm going to show you that again. You will take your working yarn with the crook of your hook and pull it through that loop that was just made, and that is your second chain. We're going to do that until we have 10 chains. Alright, 10 chains. Now what we are going to do is we are going to flip it over until we see all these little back bumps running down. This is what we're going to be working into. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to skip this first little bump here that's directly connected to the loop on our hook. We're going to skip that one. We're going to go into the little bump that's right after that, this bump right here. What I find is that it's easier to use the little tip, the little nib, I don't know what to call this, of the hook right here, instead of pushing through from this side. If this side is easier for you to push through, that is great for you. I wish I had that kind of skill, but I do not. So for anyone who finds it difficult to push this part of the hook through, use the little tip of the hook so that you can slide it right through. You see that bump right there? Slide it right through, so then you can then push the hook through that bump. Then you can yarn over with the crook of your hook, pull it through that little bump. And that does count as a stitch. I'm going to show that again with the next little back bump right here. You will insert the little tip right there and slide your hook through, yarn over, and with the crook of your hook, pull it through that little bump. And we're going to continue to do this all the way down to our last little bump right here. So all of the bumps have been worked. This is the perfect time to count out however many loops are on your hook, just so that you can make sure that you have as many stitches as you need or that you wanted. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I wanted 10, so this is perfect for me. If you did not get the number that you did, you probably maybe skipped a bump. You just have to go back and maybe find it, or increase. But this is where you want to see that you have the amount of stitches that you need. That is a little bit crucial when it comes to this, especially if you're making garments, so that they can come to the right size that you were wanting. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our working yarn, and with the crook of our hook, we're going to pull it through this first loop, like so. Then we're going to grab that working yarn again with the crook of our hook and pull through 2 loops at a time. And we're going to continue. Grab the working yarn and not the tail. So this is a perfect example of not to grab the tail. I grabbed the tail, the little tail. This is my working yarn. I did not grab my working yarn. I grabbed the tail. So you can kind of retrace your steps when it comes to what you pulled through. You see how right there? That way you don't have to redo it. I'm going to recount just for myself. 1, 2, and 10. All right. It happens. I'm watching this through the screen and not on my actual hands. So do not grab your tail that is very short. You grab your working yarn. That would have been the smarter idea. So grab it with the crook of your hook, pull through 1 loop, then you grab again the working yarn with the crook of your hook and pull through 2 loops. And you're going to continue to do that all the way until you only have 1 loop left on your hook. Okay, so this is our foundation chain. Most Tunisian crochet will begin like this, so it should look like this so far. Now what we're going to do is, now this stitch, it is incorporating regular crochet, the double crochet, into this pattern, into Tunisian crochet. It does come out beautiful, but it does have a little bit of extra thought put into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a chain of 1. So we take our yarn with the crook of our hook and we pull it through that loop right there and chain 1. This is just so that it starts off at a height so that our double stitches later aren't too tall for the starting stitch, because we do not want it to start curving like so. So what we're going to do now is we're going to skip this first loop right here, this little bar. We're going to skip that because this counts as our first stitch. So we don't need to work into this one. We're going to, unless you want to increase, we're going to just skip this right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to first yarn over. In this next loop right here, very similar to a Tunisian crochet simple stitch, we're going to work in the bar that is closest to us. So with this loop, you can see how this is the closest to us right here, because you can see the full bar versus this one that's like behind right here. We're going to insert in the bar closest to us. Right here, we're going to bring our working yarn over our hook, so yarn over. With the crook of our hook, pull it through that bar, and then we're going to grab the working yarn again with the crook of our hook and pull it through those 2 loops right there. For anyone who is familiar with regular crochet, that would be our double crochet. We're going to leave this loop obviously on our hook, and we're going to yarn over again into our next loop. In the bar that's the closest to us, we're going to insert our hook through that bar, yarn over, and pull the yarn with the crook of our hook through that loop, and then again pull our yarn, our working yarn, through 2 loops, right, like so. We're going to continue that all the way down. Okay, so we are at our last stitch, and yes, I yarned over. This is our end stitch right here, and you can tell it's the end stitch because the loop that you can see the loop, you can see an extra little bar going to the outermost side as well. We are going to work into that, but we are going to yarn over first, basically a double stitch in there as well. So we yarn over, and then we can insert our hook in the middle space right there with the 2 yarn bars on the outermost side. Yarn over, and with the crook of your hook you pull it through. Then we are also going to pull it through those 2 loops. This is how it should look so far. You can already see the little twists and turns that this is going to take. It is gorgeous. What we're going to do is a regular back pass where you take the working yarn with the crook of your hook, pull it through 1 loop, and then with the crook of your hook you pull the working yarn through 2 loops, and you will continue to pull through 2 loops until you only have 1 loop left on your hook. This is how it should look so far. I know it looks a little weird. These look like little giraffes. But this is how it should look. Now we are going to repeat that last row, which means we're going to start with a chain. So you pull that yarn through the loop that was on the hook. We're skipping this first loop because that counts as our first stitch. In the next loop, in the bar that's the closest to us, we're going to yarn over our hook first and then insert into that bar, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through those 2 loops. And we're going to continue that all the way down. Okay, so with our end stitch, the stitch right at the end, we're gonna yarn over just like we've been doing, and again I'm just going to show that it is a loop with a little extra bar coming onto the outermost side, and we're going to insert our hook after we've already yarned over for this stitch. We're going to insert it into this middle space here, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the 2 loops, and this is how it should look. The back passes will all be the same regardless, and this is just going to be a repeat of this stitch. There's nothing extra or special about anything else. You don't have to change anything. It's just repetitive the whole way through. So I'm going to work a couple more rows just so that you can see a bigger sample piece, and I will be back to show you that. So I just kind of worked just 1 extra row because it kind of already shows it very beautifully. It is a gorgeous stitch. Obviously this has a lot of gappings in it, and that is because I of course use my 10mm Tunisian crochet hook, which is much larger than I need for this kind of yarn. Definitely use the size of hook that you need just so that you can actually see. Let's see if I can kind of like scrunch it together. If this was much more denser, you could see the detailing so much better. But we did this for the demonstration purposes, and it's fine. I already know, what I did. But for anybody else who is looking to do this, it's gorgeous as it is. It's definitely really good for like shawls and scarves and such. For like, if you want it large like this, then it's definitely like summer or like fall, late spring, because it's very, breathable because of all these holes. But if you are looking for denser, then definitely use a size hook that is better for your project. But this is how each stitch looks. You can see the twists and little bobbles here. It is a gorgeous stitch. Let me try and condense it just a little. But yes, it does not curl nearly as much as a lot of the other stitches. Not really. And it does have a really good like loose drape for, again, shawls, scarves. You might be able to do like a little slouchy hat, a lot of cute things. A lot of you could technically make a cardigan as well. That'd be really nice. I'm getting ahead of myself anyways. I will leave this here. I hope that this was helpful. And yeah, happy crafting!